Hello. Welcome. Come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika, all right? And this is Sistas, y'all. We are back, okay? Another week of foolishness, all right? This is Look Closely, and this is season 4, episode 16. So, you guys, we basically picked up where we last left off with, Sabrina and Danny in the supermarket, right? And of course, they're finding out about Bayo, whatever his name is, and the fact that he's a prince. They're double checking the phone, looking, and they're like, wow, this is real. So in the meantime, these ladies are still asking Sabrina for a photo, and she's like, I guess. And so, they're asking her if she's going to marry him, and she's like, look, I don't know. I just met him. And they're like, well, we hope you do. You're beautiful. And she's like, thank you very much. They're telling her how the nation would celebrate her and all that kind of stuff. So they was like, Danny is like, he's really a royal prince, like, king to the throne or heir to the throne. And they're like, yeah. And they basically like, damn. And so they asked, she asked them what they doing there. They said they came to experiment or whatever. So then they asking Danny, do she mind? And she like, oh, taking y'all pictures. She like, sure, go ahead. Y'all get in close or whatever the case may be. And, she takes a picture of all of them together. And so she's like, smile, you radiant queen. Danny always got to be extra and come with the extra jokes. And so then when they walk away, Danny basically starts asking her, like, are you telling me you never looked into him? This never came up. This is really your first time finding out about this. And she's like, yeah, I had no freaking clue about any of this. She was like, I would think that would be something that he would have told me or whatever the case may be. And so, of course, she's asking her when's the next time she's going to see him. She's like, I'm supposed to see him tomorrow night. She like, girl, I got you a Black Panther and an Eddie Murphy rolled into one. Of course, Prince Hakeem coming to America. So she's like, you're going to be the next Meghan Markle. I love her and all this kind of stuff. And they just automatically assuming that because he's supposed to be this prince, that's automatically a good thing. I find that so interesting, especially to contrast to what we see them do later in the episode. But nonetheless, she was like, are you going to ask him about this? And she's like, yeah, I don't know why he didn't want me to know to begin with, right? And of course, when she just looked him up, I guess by his name, nothing came up. But then all of a sudden, when they put the place that they said he was king of, that came up, and Danny was like, oh shoot, this is real, that is him, and Sabrina's looking at it or whatever. And so of course she says that, they are definitely gonna have to speak about this. And so, she says for them to go ahead to go to Andy's or whatever, and she's like, she don't want this to be brought up to the girls right now. She's like, but why the heck wouldn't you want to tell them? I'm confused. And she was like, you're gonna have to explain that one to me. And she says that she will, but we never hear what her explanation is, okay? Of course, she also was asking her, like, you didn't do no research on him. She was like, first she was saying she didn't look up anything on him. And I'm like, girl. And then Danny's like, girl, and she's like, I know you had to look up something. Then she admits that she did, but she was like, like I said, that part did not come up. And so, nonetheless, they got ahead to leave to go ahead over to, Andy's house and see what the heck is going on so they could have this supposed conversation about Karen. Okay. In the meantime, Karen behind is sitting around tearing up this damn pickle, acting like, is about to save her daggone life. Okay. She wanted that pickle bad. And, you have Andy finally with Fatima, of course, actually, Andy, we know she had already got Fatima out on the last episode. And so she comes walking out and she lets Fatima know that, they're not going to let them see Zach tonight. They will have to wait till tomorrow morning. Fatima over here talking about, well, she going to spend the night there and stay and wait the whole night. She like, girl, that doesn't make no sense, okay? You need to go home, get a shower, and all of that. And she was like, I really don't want to call Robin again because he's already doing me a favor. She's like, please, girl, call him. She's like, all right, you relax. I'll be right back. And I could understand, Andy saying that if you've already asked somebody to do you a favor and they told you you're working on it, you don't really want to keep calling them and asking them about it, right? But I also understand that Fatima's nerves is bad right now. And she, really worried about Zach. So Andy go ahead and call him. And he's letting her know, like, nah, I did put in the call, but I haven't heard any response back yet. I'm waiting for this judge that's a friend of mine. Whenever he gets back to me, what I'm saying, then I'll put you up to speed what's going on. More than likely, that won't be till tomorrow morning. And he's basically, like, asking if they still going to be able to see each other later. And she's like, I would love to. And he was like, I hear a butt coming in, what I'm saying, on that. And she was like, yeah, I got some other business I got to kind of handle with my girls and stuff like that. And so they was trying to see if maybe they could still possibly see each other, after that. And she thanks him again for, helping her out, and to let him know that she does have Fatima and stuff like that. And so he's like, good, I'm glad. And so then she goes back and she gives Fatima the update. And like I said, at this point, Fatima wants to spend the night there at the daggone jail. But it doesn't really make sense for her to do that. She's like, no, girl, go home. I'm going to take you home. Fatima lets her know she's still going to need to stop by the office to get her phone. And she's like, no, I don't want you stopping by the whole office because Hayden is there. So, Fatima's like, oh, girl, you smart. She's like, yeah, I'll have a messenger drop the phone off to you. Okay, so I'm glad Andy was thinking when it came to that. We have Maurice get here to this daggone club. And who's in there pissy drunk? Okay, don't look like he need not another daggone drink. Calvin. And so it's like, here Maurice trying to get out the house and get away from stuff. And he was just about to vent about the fact that Calvin behind done let Q stay at the damn house. And it's like, here he go bumping into you here. And so he like, yeah, you should go ahead and go home, because Calvin was saying he was just about to go. And he's like, well, what was you about to say about me? What was you telling him about me? He was like, I was telling him how you let Q in the damn house. And so, Maurice's friend was basically like, whoa, 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 both of y'all need to calm down. And he was like, that's crazy. And so Maurice was like, I know. And so he talking about, so Q is at your house by himself. Like, what I'm saying? Everybody but them seem to know that that's a damn bad idea. And so, Maurice is like, yeah, he's there by himself. Why don't you join him there, Calvin? Calvin talking about he need another drink, but it's like, no, you don't need no other drinks, okay? In the condition you in, you need to get the hell out, all right? And so, of course, Maurice is talking about, and why are you here anyway in a gay club? Gay, 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 and Calvin is like, love is love. And love is love, Calvin. But, take your behind home, honey, because I'm tired of you too now. After what you did with Q, I'm over you, and you and Q could go live in a damn shoe as far as I'm concerned. So, nonetheless, they basically started, Maurice started saying how the drinks was going to be on Calvin, and, it was going to be free for all. And he was like, Calvin is drunk and he's still bringing up daggone Sabrina. He was like, I'm going to go. And so, like I said, he looked like he could barely stand. So Maurice's friend was like, where the hell is your keys? And he was like, he didn't drive, the car's home where he left it. So it was like, good, okay, because he was definitely not in no condition to be driving anywhere, all right? And so, Maurice says that he wants some damn Henny, okay? And of course, like I said, his friend is still asking him, why would you let Q stay? And he was like, man, listen, I'm not the one that let him stay. He was like, Calvin is the one that was the soft one, or maybe he's even the hard one. And he was like, he used his address, of course, for the parole. So he was like, why? He was like, I don't know. And he was like, basically, if he leaves, he'll get arrested. I wouldn't care about that. Like I said on my last daggone review when we talked last week, honey, they could come and arrest him right then, right there. I wouldn't cry not one damn tear, okay? And so he was letting him know that he's home there on his sofa or whatever the case may be. And I said, both of y'all stupid as I don't know what, But he said he ready to get drunk. Okay, he want to get it in. He want to feel like Calvin is feeling, all right? And so he asked, I think it was for some Henny, all right? He says he ready to drink. He want to get into it, and he don't want to think about none of the mess that's going out. He's going to go all in on some Henny, all right? And so he basically was like, anything is possible. So I said, okay. And then, he get up and he start doing his little dance or whatever. So Maurice is about to have his little time on the dance floor, right? And so I was like, I get it, but honey, I would have been kicking him out, and then I would have been going on the dance floor. He would not have been left on my couch. And so we move on to the next thing, and it basically, like I said, is daggone Karen sitting on the couch with Aaron. She tearing these pickles up, you know, he doodling, scribbling, whatever the hell, saying he's drawing. She was like, I never even knew you could draw. And he's basically telling her that this is an older version of her, because she was dissing the hell out of it. Like, I know that ain't supposed to be like, you know, me. That don't look nothing like me. And he was telling her if she looked real close that she could see that within each line is actually words. And I'm like, honey, I ain't got time to be looking at no tiny little stuff, okay? I'll be having to put my glasses on as it is, honey. So, you know, she's like, oh, you read it. And then he's like, no, you read it. And it's talking about, you know, being wounded and healing each other wounds. And at the end of the day, you know what, Aaron, you are absolutely right. Y'all both do got wounds, and y'all both have basically went through trauma that neither one of y'all have dealt with, and y'all have like a trauma bond, and that ain't good either. On top of y'all not really knowing a lot about each other. And he's saying here talking about some go on, and it's like, oh, until this baby, and mind you, of course, her emotions is all over the place. So she's like, it was created with so much confusion, and oh God, I can't read any more of this right now. You know, you have put more love than you can handle, and you know, so basically he's telling her don't stop, and she's like, I can't keep reading this. And so he was like, okay, you know, it's okay, calm down. And I'm like, both of y'all getting on my damn nerves, okay? She's saying it's too much, Aaron. You know, he was like, well, I mean every word. He was like, this is just, you know what I'm saying, what helps me is how I express myself when I feel like I can't talk, all right? And so I'm like, okay, whatever, Aaron. Sorry, y'all. I'm messing these names up. So she talking about some Aaron make love to me. I said, what? How the hell you go from I can't have a baby with a man that I don't know. I don't like him in that way. I don't love him, okay? Just wanting him to get you some pickles and ice cream. And now you want him to make love to you. Girl, bye, Karen. I'm so freaking over this lady. I don't know what to do. But, of course, he falls for it. He happy. He want the attention, and he want to get some. He ain't going to say no. So they start doing what they doing. All right. So on from them, you know, we have, and it really wasn't much to this episode, to be honest with y'all. This was like a fuller episode to me. We have Fuego show up, and, you know, she's acting surprised that, you know, he's being professional, and basically, you know, saying that, you know, oh, that's right. He is smart, and he was good with computers and things of that nature. And he lets her know that he was looking for jobs, but it was really hard finding them, I guess, probably especially for the type of pay he wanted to get. So instead of working for somebody else, he decided to do his little side hustles or whatever and builds up from the ground his own business. I ain't mad at it, okay? And so she was like, you know, yeah, that's smart. And then he was saying, like, you know, because she, had told him the girls was coming, and he was like, does that include Danny? She was like, yeah. So I guess probably if he would have known Danny was coming, he probably wouldn't have came for that time. And he's like, oh, okay. He was like, Dag. She was like, why you say that? And she was like, he basically was like, because she can't stand me. She hates me. She's like, oh, well, she hates everybody. And if anything, you know what I'm saying, if she's acting that way, it's more so because she must like you. Okay, and that's how she be treating people that she like in the beginning at first. It's like, huh? Who the heck wants somebody that's going to be treating them crazy? But whatever. And then when the girls do come upstairs in there and they see him, it's mad awkward with them seeing him because they didn't expect him to be there. So he's like asking where can he start. First she had told him anywhere. Then she had told him the kitchen. Then once the girls come out, it's basically like, oh, well, go ahead and start in the bedroom or whatever the case may be. And he's like, okay, he'll go there. You know, Sabrina's over here talking about, oh, well, what is he doing here? And, you know, she had gave him a hug at first when she comes out of the elevator. Danny don't say nothing. She just walks straight over. And so Sabrina, of course, is being extra creepy about it because I guess she thought at first that he was there like for some type of strip show or something, and she's like, no, he's here basically looking for a bug, you know. Danny had turned around and was like, nice to see you, El Fugo, and then he was like, yeah, nice to see you too. And so she was like, I asked him to do some work for me, and it's like, well, what kind of work? You know, and she's like, oh, telling him to keep going or whatever the case may be. And he says that he'll, like I said, go in the bedroom just to give them their privacy. She was like, okay. And so she basically was telling them to stop it because they was acting like two giddy ass little girls. And, she's basically lets them know that, she got them searching for a bug just in case. Well, she already had this conversation with Danny any daggone way. So the only one that really should have been updated was Sabrina, but they both was acting like, I don't know. So nonetheless, she's giving them the breakdown and they're like, oh, you really think he would do that? And should we even be here if he's going to do this? Because they ask her if she's keeping the penthouse and she's like, yeah. And Danny knew the kind of chairs that it was and everything. And she was like, how you know about that? And Danny was telling her she keeps up with it, stuff like that. And so she says, yeah, she is going to stay there. But then Sabrina gets mad nervous like, well, should we still be in here if you think that he could have possibly did something like that? She's like, well, I think he's capable of it. We gonna know the answer in a minute, but I don't know that it is here. And I guess before she continues to stay there, she want to make sure whether they there or not, and go ahead and get them, get it out. And so of course they go on a whole thing about that, and they like, well, we are here to talk about Karen, so what the heck is going on with her? And, she was saying again how she doesn't want to, Danny was saying how Karen doesn't want to leave Zach alone. She's still trying to hold on to Zach. They were saying how they got to remind her of all the negative things so that she doesn't end up back with him. And then they were saying, well, if we marry, remind you of things with Gary, would that work? And they was basically saying like, well, I don't think you want to do that. And that's not a good idea to remind her of bad things as far as him giving her STDs. But, you can talk about some of the bad things that, he's done. And Danny was like, well, I already tried that. And she was saying, well, what did she say? And pretty much they was just going over the same damn stuff that they all should already know, to be quite honest. And so then, they sitting here having jokes on Frago's job, and this is what I mean. Like, it kind of turns me off. I don't really find it funny because it's like, oh, well, if he is good with computers and he has his own business, and then Danny goes, yeah, his little plaything, whatever he's trying to start up, like, if it's supposed to be so insignificant, but you working as a damn ticket person in the airport, Danny, you not some big time tech whatever either. Like, you ain't a damn doctor or no big shit. You know what I mean? You got a job. Like, as long as the person is working and they paying their daggone bills, what's the problem? But y'all automatically assume when it comes to Bayo that he gonna be so great because he's this prince, and I ain't believing that yet, okay, until I see more evidence to tell me otherwise. But nonetheless, it just goes to show how, you'll judge people real quick or whatever the case may be and make a lot of assumptions about them. So nonetheless, they start talking back and forth about how they think that Karen went to the doctor with Aaron today. And they were saying how, and Sabrina basically says she called the job and Pam had let her know that she wasn't there all day. And they like all day, they was like, yeah, most of the day. And then she did leave with Aaron. And so they playing, well, I'm not going to say they. Sabrina and Danny seem to be clueless about this part and was like, well, we definitely have to check on her. She's not answering her phone. She's not calling none of us. She haven't been back in work. Then we need to make a house call. And Andy was acting clueless, and I was wondering, is this bad writing, or did Andy just not want to tell them? Because didn't freaking Karen literally go straight to Andy to vent to her right after the appointment? Drove straight there. And she told her, well, maybe you want to go ahead and talk to Aaron. So why was Andy acting like she didn't know anything? I didn't get that part. She talking about she didn't go to work. And she's not answering her phone. Well, maybe we do need to go over there. And so then they start making it seem like it's a life and death, like they need to go right now. And she's asking Fugo how much longer it's going to be for him to check everything. And he said, give him about another 10 minutes. All of a sudden, 10 minutes turned into 10 seconds. And he's claiming that it's not no bugs there. And she's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, he didn't find none. To me, he didn't take long enough to look good, child, but whatever. Okay. And so they saying that they gonna go ahead and get over here to check on Karen or whatever the case may be. Like I said, we not hearing nothing from her. So we gotta go. And I appreciate the fact that they trying to check on Karen now, okay? Because sometimes she do need somebody too. But I think this was just a little silly when it came to this part. So nonetheless, she calls Robin to give him an update. And at first he's still trying to see if he could see her when she finished. She like, nah, I think it'll be too late. But she was like, you know what? If you really do still want to see me, then maybe you could just come to my house and wait for me here. I could tell the doorman to let you up. So he like, okay, cool. Yeah, that works for me. And she was like, I'll try not to be going too long, but I do have to go handle this. And so she hangs up with him because she had told them to go ahead, that she was going to basically put her shoes on. And he was like, yo, I wish I could tell you what I'm about to do. But she's like, what? He was like, no, I'll wait till we face to face and then we can laugh about it. Baby, this was about the only part of the episode where Robin did that actually did make me laugh. And so she go ahead to get herself together so they could get over here to Karen's and see what's going on. And Mr. Robin walks inside the Hayden office and he's like, hi. And he's like, hey, he's like, you here late? He was like, yeah, I could say the same thing about you. He was like, yeah, I'm just catching up. So he was like, I see. He was like, how's it going? So Hayden was like, what do you mean? He was like, I heard about earlier, I'm sorry about that, man. And he was like, yeah, well, that wasn't nothing. That just was a loser, bro. It's all good. So he was like, you sure? Hayden is asking, Robin is asking Hayden if it's all good. And Hayden is saying, yeah, it's good. He was like, you need anything? And so Robin is like, nah, man, I mean, you a man, just tell me, like, what the heck? He was like, I'm hearing all kind of stuff around here. So he was like, you only here for a few days. Hayden asked Robin that. And he was like, yeah. He was like, then you going back to London? And Robin is like, yeah. He was like, but I mean, the shit around here, it's been crazy. He was like, I mean, you and Fatima. So here go Hayden. Oh, yeah, stay away from her. She's a real bitch and she got a lot of mess with her. And Robin talking about, oh, shit, that's some crazy shit. And, Hayden talking about, I know. He was like, then her boyfriend came in. He was like, yeah, but I'm good. He was like, that bitch is gone. I said, listen, you got one more bitch to come out your mouth, Hayden, okay? And so he was like, well, what exactly did she do? You a young, handsome man. Don't seem like it would be some problems like that. He was like, well, she went crazy over you. So Hayden talking about, shit, man, you already know. But I'm telling you, these bitches in Atlanta, they be wild, That's why I started dating white chicks and white girls. And, you got to be careful. I said, Hayden, stop with your lies. That bitch is crazy. Every minute he want to be calling her a bitch. And so he was like, she came with the bat, beat up my car, beating up stuff in my house. He was like, why would she do that? He was like, she's jealous, bro. And so Robin is like, is she? He was like, yeah, I told her I ain't want her no more. He just a lying through his damn teeth. Talking about she keep coming at me, but she knows, that I wanted to move on, and she's acting all jealous. So Robin like, yeah, because you getting the white girls, right? He was like, yeah. So he was like, well, matter of fact, what's up with you and Andy? So he was like, who told you that? He was like, nah, that's not, what I'm saying, my daggone girlfriend. He's, Robin let him know that he heard the things about him around the cooler or whatever, like cooler talk, because he was even asking, like, did Andy tell him all of this? So he was like, nah. He was like, well, you lucky, because being as though you work at the London office, you don't really have no ties where they could come after you and be like, it's two co-workers, that's dealing with each other. So he was like, you could tell me the truth. And he was like, nah, me and Andy's not like that. He was like, what the heck would make you, think that? She's cool and everything. We talk, but not on no level like that. He was like, we're not messing around. And he was like, then what the heck you doing? And he was like, does your boss know? And still trying to say, we be having a police fertilization, fertilizing, like you're not supposed to fertilize at work or whatever the case may be. Not fertilize, what the hell, fraternize. I'm sorry, y'all. My words be getting all jumbled up. And so he was like, I know you hitting her, you could tell the truth. So he was basically like, why the hell do you keep saying that? What would make you think that? He was like, y'all talk all the time. He was like, come on, bro, you can keep it real with me. And so here go Robin, nah, we're not. And he's like, you're not. He was like, no, we're not. And he was like, no. He was like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm gay. Hayden was like, what? He was like, yeah, I'm gay. He was like, actually, you're more my speed. Hayden's mouth was just like, and he was like, I see. He was like, yeah. He was like, we work together, and that's the only reason. And he went to reach at Hayden, and Hayden jumped back, and he was like, it's okay. He was like, so your practice is in London, right? And he was like, and you're actually not hitting Andy? He was like, nah. He was like, I'm gay, so it don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not into that. He was like, but I do love her shoes. And Hayden was like, okay. He was like, yeah, so I'm going to get ready to get out of here. So Hayden was like, cool. So he was like, you have the best night. And he was like, yeah, you too, thank you. So so he's still sitting there looking at him the whole time though, and Hayden is like, you still sticking around? And he's like, yeah. He was like, well, we got that meeting with the partners in the morning. And he's like, right, I got that email. He was like, what's up with that? So Hayden took him about, no idea. I love it, because Hayden gonna let it all pour out on his ass when he least expected, and he gonna find out. I'm sorry, Robin gonna let him know when he least suspected that this damn meeting was really going down. So nonetheless, he keeps telling him, like, you still sitting here, and Robin is like, I am. And so, he's like, well, listen, bro, is there anything else that I could do for you? And he's like, nah, it ain't nothing else. He was like, something tells me that you could be interested in me too, though. And he was like, you could go. He was like, all right then. He was like, you stay away from them crazy ass chicks. I love that he gave him a taste of his own medicine. You want to be here freaking, harassing people. How do you feel when you harassed? How do you feel when you put on the spot? How do you feel when you get unwanted daggone behavior, okay? Sometimes it really takes showing a person, because they could dish it, but they can't freaking take it back. And like I said, I can't wait for this meeting to go down, so that way he could find out that Robin is his daggone boss, and hopefully they either demoting him way the hell down or firing him altogether or something. We finally see Zach call for Tima, and that gave her some peace, and he was being all happy and cheerful to hear her voice. She was like, how I was out? He was like, he was gonna keep calling till he got an answer, okay? And he's telling her to be positive, not think like that. He like, don't worry about it. I'm in a position where I got money now, I'm gonna get bail. She's like, no, you already been locked up before, you've been in trouble. Of course, she feeling super guilty now, because now he done got arrested, and of course, this all started with her going after him. He's like, man, don't even think about none of that. He was like, and I don't want to spend time talking about that, doodle bird or whatever. He didn't say doodle bird, but that's my word. I don't want to spend time talking about Hayden. I want us to talk about us, and not waste time talking about him. Is he on this phone with us? And she was like, you right. He was asking her if she gonna have the hashtag free Zach, and she was like, that's not funny. And I'm like, yes, Zach, we definitely down for it, okay? We like free Zach now. And so he told her, just relax. He was like, what you was going to do? Stay here all night, and walk around with the sign? And she was like, no, I really was going to stay there all night. But Andy was like, go home. And he was like, well, I'm glad she did, you try to get some rest. So he was asking her about, what does she cook? And she was like, cook? I can't eat nothing. And he was like, well, make something up to me, okay? That sound good. So she started talking about, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, kale greens, or whatever. And he was like, that sound good. He was telling her to read him something from a self-help book. But she was like, I don't need to read nothing from a self-help book to tell you, baby, I love you. And I was like, oh, they just so cute, And so basically, he just wanted to really spend the time being positive. And so when the phone call cut off, and he was telling her to stop apologizing, because she basically was apologizing over and over, and he was like, you just did the same thing for me that I would do for you, and vice versa. We got each other, we hold each other down, and what I'm saying, that's that on that. And so I was happy with that, but I don't like that Zach is in this damn situation that he's in. I really do wish he would have, held a cooler head. And so we get Calvin behind, bringing his behind in drunk. He's talking about, oh, I'm sorry, did I wake you? Stumbling all over the place. And basically Q was telling him no, he was already up. And he's like, okay, cool. And so he sees that he's really drunk or whatever the case may be. And he's asking him if he's okay. And he's like, yeah, the room is spinning. He's like, my mouth is dry. So he was like, let me get you some water. And Calvin over here talking about the waters in the damn, TV. And Q is like, yeah, but it's also in the damn, No, he says it's in the fridge. And Calvin was like, in there too. So I'm already like, oh Lord, is, Q going to end up taking advantage of him, because he drunk with his damn dumb behind. And so nonetheless, he's sitting there, oh, the room is spinning and I'm feeling all crazy. He was like, you went out and had you a good time, huh? He's like, yeah, I'm kind of a little, out of it. I was partying hard and I did a little too much or whatever. So he brings him the glass of water over. And he basically is telling him he's a nice guy and thank you, whatever the case may be, and start drinking the water. And so, Q comes sit down next to him and he's like, I've been trying to get this damn girl off my mind, this ain't shit girl off my mind. And he was like, really? He was like, no, to keep it real, she's wonderful, man. She's a good woman. But he was like, for some reason, she basically always trying to check for me and give me a hard time or whatever the case may be. This is what Calvin is saying to Q, and he was like, she thinks that I'm some type of asshole, and she also thinks I'm gay. And so Q was like, oh, and he was like, no matter how many times I tell her goofy ass that I'm not, she basically always still in the system that I am, and she ain't trying to hear it. So he was like, well, why the hell, would she think that you was gay? He telling him he's sorry or whatever the case may be. And Calvin is like, me too. And he was like, I'm not gay. And so Q says he get it. And he was like, how the hell do you get it? And he was like, well, I get it because I'm not gay either. And he telling him he is gay. He was like, no, I do what I need for money. And so Calvin is like, that's bullshit. He was like, nah, there's a lot of people out there like me. You know what I mean? I don't want a man, but I basically be gay for pay, whatever, right? I do whatever's necessary. So he's like, huh? So he was like, yeah. He was like, as a part of survival, you know what I'm saying? He was like, I'll do that shit with women too. He was like, all right, then, well, maybe you bisexual. So he's still trying to be like, no, I'm cash sexual. And then, Calvin talking about some, oh, that's funny. Ha, ha, ha. I like that. I might have to use that sometime. I never heard nothing like that before. So here, cute. So he was like, wow, whatever the case may be. So he was like, that's some real funny shit. But he was like, yo, what? He was like, when we were intimate, because he asked him like, well, why does she think you gay? He tells him the vibrator story. At first he wasn't getting it, like, well, you told her to use the vibrator, but you couldn't get it up or something. He was like, oh, no, I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? I could get it up, no problem. He was like, what the hell you think I am? He was like, no, I told her to use it on me. And so Q was like, oh, and he get it. And he was like, He was like, oh, shit. So, Calvin talking about, oh, shit is right or whatever. So he was like, see, that's what me and you is different because ain't nothing going in my ass. So, Calvin talking about, wait a minute. So you could put it in, whatever, but you don't like nothing going in you. And he's like, no, I don't like nothing going back there, because Calvin was like, that's crazy, whatever the case may be. So they both essentially think each other is crazy for their perspectives on what they think or whatever, how stuff work, and, whether that makes them gay or not gay or bisexual, whatever. And then they get back to the whole, the cash is right. All right, that he does it for the cash. And so, Calvin go ahead and take a couple of more sips of the water. And he's like, all right, well, I'm about to take my ass to, bed. He was like, you a good guy, whatever the case may be, but I'm done for the night or whatever. So here come Q putting his hand on his damn arm, talking about, you want me to show you. And Calvin is like, show me what? And he was like, show you how it feels. And he was like, listen, you need to go to damn bed. Calvin is basically telling Q this part at this point. He's like, as a matter of fact, you need to take your ass to the couch. And so Q's like, I'm already on the couch. And he's like, okay, well, you stay there. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, you crazy. So Q's still talking about, I'm serious. And talking about, are you sure? And that you don't want it or whatever. And then Calvin is just basically stops. And that's how the freaking episode went off. And as usual, y'all, I'm over the Calvin and Q story. I really am. It's like, every time I think they can't irritate me no more with it, they do. Y'all put it in the comments. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about this episode. You know what I'm saying? What you liked, what you didn't like. What do you think is going to be the next thing to happen with Hayden? How he gonna feel or whatever the case may be. And do you think that Calvin and Q is about to damn sleep together? Put it all in the comments. Let's discuss. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Till next time. Toodaloo.